welcome in Cardano community. My name's Fareed. As a part of today's video, we're sitting down to discuss the Metera Protocol in index platform building here on the network, in addition to the AXO trade platform, which will be hosting them for their upcoming token launch or their upcoming TGE. As a part of this live stream, I'll be joined by Daniel Sampson, one of the co-founders of the Metera Protocol, as well as Yarick, one of the leads for AXO, and then Ollie representing the AXO trade team as well. Without any further ado, let me go ahead and bring up today's guest, kicking things off with Metera first. So we've got Daniel Sampson. Welcome up, Daniel. How are you?
Hello, Farid. Excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me. Doing great.
It's my pleasure. I think this is going to be a really great chat, and I'm looking forward to hearing what all these great minds have been building over the course of the bear market as we're just about to head into the big, I think, leg of the bull market. So super exciting times here. And I know you guys have a lot of updates to share here with the community. Without any further ado, let me bring up the second portion or the second half here of today's live stream, which is Yarick and Ollie. Welcome up, gentlemen. How are you guys doing?
Hi, Farid. Doing all right. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm just getting my morning started. Coffee in hand. Couldn't ask for more, man. Thanks for joining us here. Ollie, how are you?
Hey, man. Thanks for inviting us. Glad to be here. I'm doing great.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. All right. We are just a couple of minutes late here. I just want to let anybody know who's tuned in here watching this live. Make sure to go ahead and post any of your questions that you have here related to Metera AXO and their upcoming token launch. We'll aim to take a couple of those at the very end of today's live stream, but we do have a jam-packed agenda, so I want to make sure to take advantage of that. And we're just going to dive straight on in. So introductions, I think, are a really good way to sort of break the ice here. For anybody who maybe hasn't heard of Metera, we'll kick it over to Daniel. Do you mind explaining a little bit about who you are and what Metera is bringing here into the Cardano ecosystem? And then we'll come over to Yarick and Ollie.
For sure. I hope everyone can listen to me all right. But my name is Daniel Sampson. I'm one of the co-founders of Metera Protocol and the sitting CEO. What we have created is a platform for tokenized portfolios. So basically a platform for users to diversify their investments in the Cardano ecosystem. How the platform works is we essentially mint an LP tokens with multiple assets within them in order to create an instrument similar to ETFs or indexes in traditional finances. Our main vision is to help, via our instruments, is to help bring liquidity into the chain and to triple that liquidity into projects in the Cardano ecosystem. We have been developing for the past 2.5, 3 years, and we most recently had a very successful ISPO with over 34 million ADA staked in our main pool, with over 21K participants across all 16 partner pools. And yeah, really excited to be here to discuss our token launch with AXO, which is a great platform, and we are really excited to see what we can also do in the future. Sorry, I'm not sure if it's me, but I cannot hear you.
Yeah. That was definitely me. I do apologize. I was saying I'm going to fix my camera here in just a second. I've got a minor blip that I need to take care of, but I want to turn it over to Yarick and Ollie to introduce themselves as well and what they're bringing to the table with AXO Trade.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Yarick. I'm founder of the AXO Protocol. AXO is order book DEX that's fully programmable. So you just don't post market intent orders. You can create any strategy that your heart desires to seize of any market opportunities you want, or implement your own market making strategy. And this is all executed and validated on chain. So you don't have to run any infra at your home. You just create strategy, deploy it, and it runs automatically in the order book DEX style.
Perfect. Short and sweet. Again, want to thank all of you guys for making the time to jump on here. I'll leave the links to everything that you guys have in terms of official profiles down below as a part of today's video description. So for the listeners, if you guys want to find out more about Metera, the information should be down there. And if you guys want to find out more about AXO, the information should be down there as well. Let's maybe pivot back over to AXO, right? So we'll sort of kick off the conversation breaking down some of your guys' key offering. Obviously, the DEX being, I think, the main breadwinner, but you guys also have a Launchpad. Do you mind breaking down, what this Launchpad is all about, what people can do on it, and then we'll switch gears and then come back to Daniel to talk a little bit more about indexes and portfolios.
So the interesting thing about the Launchpad is when we created AXO, the Launchpad kind of existed in the background already, thanks to the ability for people to create any strategies they want. But we figured out that that's like one of the pain points that many projects find from looking at the ecosystem, and we found it's like also healthy for AXO as a DEX to be the place where those launches happen. So we've listened to the community and we created a very simple and easy to understand interface on top of the protocol. And that's the AXO Launchpad. So what benefits you get as a project using the AXO Launchpad, you can configure it exactly as you want. So it gives the projects a lot of needed configurability to achieve the goals they need. And also we're getting a lot of positive feedback from the community, like from the other side of the trade, like that they are having good experience. It seems to remove a lot of risks and the hurdles for the people as well. I don't know if Oli want to add anything to that. Oli?
Yeah, so the the thing with the Launchpad is that it's an addition to the AXO protocol, right? So as was said before, with programmable swaps and with trading strategies, you can program your trade however in any way you want, and this is the strongest point of the Launchpad. The only limit is your imagination. So do you want a fixed price token sale? Do you want to have ladder price or sell different amount of tokens at different prices? Or do you want to have a price discovery mechanism where people can freely trade the token during the token sale to find the best token price for your token? You can do anything you want on the Launchpad. And I think that's what sets us apart from other Launchpads. Also, it's fully decentralized, so the tokens are directly sent into your wallet. We don't control any tokens. Everything is done directly with the project. So you're trading directly against orders from the project.
Noted. Thank you. I appreciate that breakdown there very much. Just taking a look at myself, keeping up with a lot of projects here in the ecosystem. I've noticed obviously the Dedium sale went extremely well, and then most recently the Strike Finance sale going extremely well. So I believe with Metera being your third launch, hopefully we're able to see sort of that continued momentum and that continued excitement around your guys' platform. But I've left the link to this down below as a part of today's video description down there as well. Now let's shift back over to Daniel. So you guys are building an index platform that's also providing access to tokenized portfolios. Do you mind maybe breaking down some of the benefits of tokenized portfolios for both investors and portfolio managers on the Metera platform?
Yes, for sure. First of all, I just wanted to mention that we're really excited to be the third project to launch with AXO. We were looking closely at different launchpads in the ecosystem for the longest time, to be honest, since the beginning of the year, as we were planning, and AXO definitely the AXO launchpad fulfilled everything that we needed out of a launchpad. So really excited, and also to go after such amazing projects like DeFi and Strike. Regarding the index tokens, so what we're basically trying to do is bring one of the biggest instruments for investments in traditional finances, right? Most people that are within the ecosystem are not traders themselves. It can become really, really difficult to keep track of your portfolio, to keep track of price movement, and to balance your portfolio. Besides all of the time that is needed to do that, you also need the knowledge of technical analysis, and also perhaps have some experience working on that in the past. So what we're trying to do is empower the user via their investments to be able to be diversified in the Cardano ecosystem. One of the biggest tools in investment is diversification, because you you don't hold all of your eggs in a single basket, and in such a moving market as cryptocurrencies, um, the price swings are so big, and keeping on top of every single price movement can become very, very difficult. Basically, we're offering the opportunity of investing in a strategy set by a portfolio manager that has been directly vetted by our DAO. So a portfolio manager needs to go through a whole process within the Metera DAO in order to become a portfolio manager, and for the DAO to accept them as portfolio managers and with individual indexes. And the idea behind those instruments is to give access to investments in a particular sector of the Cardano ecosystem. We most recently hosted our test and earn program with our pre-prod testnet, where we launched 2 portfolios on our side, and our partners over at Cerberus launched 2 of their indexes as well, which they crafted with their risk ratings logic. And they have been consistently outperforming ADA. So if we think as ADA as our benchmark, our instruments have been consistently outperforming. I don't have the freshest numbers that were published yesterday, but last time I checked, Cerberus indexes have overperformed ADA by 80% since inception. So that's basically what we're trying to offer on the portfolio manager side. We serve as a marketplace where they can offer their strategies, and they can have a place where they bring liquidity into those strategies and generate fees via the underlying via the assets under management that they have within their index. So it's like a circular economy and a relationship between the portfolio manager and the user. And one of our biggest targets at the moment is to use our instruments to bring outside liquidity. So for the past couple of months, we have been speaking to a couple of hedge funds that are already invested in the Cardano ecosystem and that hold Cardano native assets in their portfolio for their clients, and some other family offices that are starting to experiment with assets, well, with cryptocurrency. So our goal right now is to be able to offer an instrument so they can diversify some of their holdings into Cardano native assets, thus bringing liquidity to projects from outside.
And that's actually going to be a really good segue into my next question to you, Daniel. And I would love to pose the same question to Yarek and Ollie, which is liquidity, right? So we've seen Emergo partnering up. Most recently, of course, their name is escaping my mind now, but there was a partnership with GSR, and then just recently, a brand new platform that's aiming to bring on liquidity to help incubate projects and to really help take Cardano to the next level. And so my question is, how are we able to do that with the current tool sets that we have? And maybe what are some of the gaps that you guys are seeing as builders on the ground, right? So I'll come to Yarek and Ollie after you, Daniel. But again, I just want to pose the question about, how does tokenizing assets improve liquidity and accessibility? And what do you think that we can do in the current space and market that we're in, right, to raise awareness about the fact that we do need that boost here to help projects make it to the next level?
So it's me first, then?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's no news to everyone building in the space that we lack liquidity in the Cardano ecosystem. I think that everyone here in the call is really resilient, because we've had some, like, out of every cryptocurrency in the space, especially Cardano has had some deep bear market with liquidity and active wallets going down over the past year or so. So I think such as AXO, which is building an order book in order to make trading more efficient in the Cardano ecosystem, we are too trying to build the instruments or the tools to bring more outside liquidity. As a developer on the space, most definitely the last year has seemed a lot much easier to develop on Cardano. Initially, we were developing with PABs and Bluetooth-based off-chain libraries and Haskell, and it was, to be honest, such a pain in the ass. And developer experience has become way easier over the last few years. I was actually just speaking yesterday with Shan from Strike, and I told him that I was really, really surprised the amount of time they took to have an idea and to go into the actual implementation of a platform in pre-prod. We took 3 years. They took, I don't know the exact dates, but just months. So that means that developer activity is like all-time high, and projects are coming out each day that will help bring liquidity, and hopefully Metera becomes one of those. With the instrument themselves, I think the idea is really, really simple. Most people don't really like the amount of like do your own research that you have to do in order to understand which projects you want to invest in the Cardano ecosystem. With so much offer out there, it's gonna be simpler via our platform, because we have already crafted indexes that you can directly see the ratings via Cerberus and see what's the on-chain analysis of the risk of that asset. So hopefully we're able to guide liquidity towards different sectors of the ecosystem, and thus growing Metera as a platform because of the volume and the activity in the platform, but also redirecting that liquidity to projects so they can keep building and making Cardano better.
Yeah, what this really reminds me of is the rush with aggregators that we've seen, right? Where we've seen DexCenter coming in, we've seen ADA markets coming in, we've seen, for example, Dedium coming in, Nuvola coming in, and not only are they as a project, obviously able to make a living, which at the end of the day, that's what business is all about, but they're able to also bring up other projects in the process, right? So, for example, ADA markets in DexCenter, they're now bringing traffic to maybe some of the dexes that wouldn't have gotten that traffic with some of these big orders, right? Because I think as a everyday trader, logically it just makes sense for me to just go on one particular dex and put in a huge trade, but I may not necessarily get the best outcome, right? And so I think what you guys are doing is very similar to that, where you guys are basically putting together these portfolios, giving exposure to projects or tokens or assets that may not necessarily have gotten investments on their own, but because they're a part of the Metera portfolios, they're now able to get that additional exposure. So I definitely do appreciate that, and I think it's really the way that we should, operate moving forward. And then you also talked about the simplicity of developing. I've had the JPEG Store team on, and they mentioned the same exact thing. Building the JPEG Store platform took, a couple of years. And then building their newest product called Rocket for token launches, I mean, they wrapped it up in a couple of months. So to be able to see that growth, that maturity, I think is really what we need. So that said, I want to turn it over to Yarek and Ali if they've got any points that they want to add to this conversation about liquidity and how we could potentially boost that here in the ecosystem. And then we're going to jump into the actual token sale announcement, which is the main highlight of today's stream.
It's interesting that you've mentioned Amogo GSI partnership. So GSI is like one of the most premier market makers, and it was founded by people from Stellar Securities, where I used to work. So that's like your premier market maker as far as it goes. And what the role they feel is they usually bring the liquidity across the fragmented ecosystems. So like for instance between SEXs and DEXs. And this ensures, you kind of like with the aggregator, you tap into, like one place of the liquidity, but they can, for instance, like arb between different places, right? So wherever you go, your order is fulfilled. But when it comes to the ecosystem at the bottom, which is like Cardano, then we have the nexus. And what matters the most for them is spread and depth of the liquidity, right? So the spread is how far you have to go off the price to get your first match, and the depth is how much price mismatch you have to go through, right? So for instance, you may have perfectly matched price, but then like if there's a very little liquidity, then you won't be able to match your order anyway. And then you got into like the issues, such for instance, you may have something like AMM curve, right? So then the path itself like guarantees some specific level of slippage. So that's like predetermined. But then on the other hand, it's like very easy to understand, right? And then to establish the price. On the other hand, you can have something quite custom that helps you to tweak the specific, action of the market maker to the specific products. And like a very good example of that could be, like a pair of stable coins, right? Or a stable coin and some product where you can derive the price. And that's quite interesting, like where we are with that in Cardano ecosystem in general, because Cardano, for being a blockchain with one of the lowest liquidity, it has the highest number of the DEXs. So I'm very glad we had such a boom of the DEX aggregators. But of course, there are like challenges still with them. But it's quite interesting, like I think two things you can see by that, like if you start see those partnerships, this may be a sign of a trend reversal, so that's like exciting for me personally. And the other interesting thing is Cardano is like really vibrant ecosystem, so we have so many different products, so many different experiments. So, like one of them being, of course, like AXO, with completely different approach to Lexus and other book Lexus, but another one I'm very excited about is like, for instance, like Metera, right? So it's kind of like highly institutional grade tool, right? Where you bring, like mutual products to chain. So it's going to be very interesting to see, and I definitely root for Daniel and the team.
Nicely stated. And what you just mentioned about the trend reversal, I mean, again, I came in towards the end of the last bull market, and the last 3 years have been extremely grueling. But I will say that it appears that liquidity does appear to be flowing back into not just Cardano, but just the broader blockchain space. And so, again, I think that there's a lot of big opportunity for anybody who's still here after making it through the brutal bear market, which obviously AXO has been building throughout the entire time. I remember jumping back into your guys' Discord back in like early 2022, and then meeting Daniel, watching them continuously building. And then getting to this point here has been massive. So that said, all of this building has led up to this particular moment here. Last week, we got some pretty big news mentioning the Metera token launch taking place on October 11th at 1500 UTC. Now, again, this will be done using the AXO token launchpad. And so I want to turn it back over to Daniel first to break down all of the details about the upcoming sale. I know that there's been a lot of work going on the backside. And then I would also love to hear a little bit from Yarek and Ollie about what the community could potentially do to get ready, and maybe a little bit about, just sort of what the feedback has been about the platform so far. And if there's any tips that you guys could offer to the community ahead of the Metera token launch event. So Daniel, over to you first to break down all the details about the upcoming sale.
Okay, thanks so much. So there's a lot to cover, so I'll try to go straight to the point. So like I briefly mentioned, we have been in the space for almost 3 years now, and now is the time that we're deciding to launch our token. We have previously done a successful ISPO. We also did an NFT sale. So there's a lot of people waiting for the Metera token to go out, and I'm really excited about the token. We are coming off of 2 months of pretty intensive testing with the testnet. So we have over 2,600 unique wallets participating. We had over 20,000 transactions processed during that period. We learned a lot. And we also, in the meantime, did an audit with Sunday, which has just finished and we're about to publish. So it seems like the right time to go out with the token launch as we prepare into mainnet. We are still going to do a second round of our test and earn program where you can earn some of the Metera, so we can test out our latest smart contracts post audit. After that, we should be pretty set to go into mainnet and becoming the first index token platform to go into mainnet in the ecosystem. Now, about the sale, we're doing a one price token sale. So the price of Metera will be 0.024 ADA per Metera token. The sale will go live on October 11 at 3 p.m. UTC, and I believe there's gonna be 3 hours of pre-trading. how it works on AXO, different to how we see launches on AMMs typically, is that you're not receiving LP tokens when you participate in the token launch. You're receiving the straight, you're receiving Metera, right? And you're not waiting until the sale is finished, but you will be receiving the Metera directly after your transaction is completed. As you put up in the screen, we're doing an event with 15% of our tokens. The remaining 5% of the token generation event will be used to create our protocol own liquidity. More details about the POL that we will be creating will be released closer to the token launch itself, but we will keep liquidity in AXO to create some buy and sell orders and leave them there hanging. And we will most likely create most of our liquidity in Sunday using their new fee managed pools. Yeah, I mean, this is an exciting time. We'll use that 5% and most of the ADA raise to constantly be creating liquidity. We have seen this being really useful, and this mechanism work via the DDI and the Strike launch also, where they are creating their own liquidity with the ADA raised. So yeah, what you guys can start to do to prepare is, I would invite everyone to test out our testnet. The test and earn program is not open, so you won't be earning rewards as of right now if you test out the testnet, but a new program will be open shortly in the next couple of weeks after the TG happens. But yeah, I mean, exciting times. Really glad to see that our platform was able to process over 20,000 transactions, because we really stress tested. And one huge announcement now that we have AXO here is that we're also integrating with their basket buys. For the longest time, we have been trying to solve an issue within the platform where users needed to provide liquidity into our indexes via the underlying assets. So let's say we have 5 different assets in an index. You needed to go to a DX, buy all of the underlying assets, and provide them via Metera in a single transaction. So what we have now been integrating for the past 2 months, I believe on our end, is basket buys with AXO. So users can directly provide ADA and receive their index tokens back. So they don't need to go to different DXs and buy the underlying assets. So yeah, working with AXO just made sense on those 2 ends, for the launchpad and for the basket buys, and I'm fairly sure it's gonna be very, very successful. I'll just, as a last comment, there is no oversubscription on the sale, because you're sending directly the Metera. So with the 15% of token supplies that we're putting up for the sale, if the sale is completely successful, we would be raising 3.6 million ADA, from which about 1.2 million would be used initially to create liquidity across different DEXs, like I mentioned previously.
That's a relatively large allotment to liquidity. Again, I think really showing your guys' commitment, right, to doing things the right way, and to making sure that for anybody that wants to trade the token, they're able to do so pretty easily through the actual AXO platform. Now, as you were speaking there, you did quickly plug in the testnet. So I've gone ahead and I've pasted the link to that as a part of today's live chat. I'll make sure to go ahead and leave that as a part of the description here after the stream here, but it's available at test.meteraprotocol.io. From here, we have the Discover tab, Orders, Faucet, Test and Earn, and then you can view your wallet and assets. Here we've got some of the featured portfolios. And then, as you've mentioned, it looks like you guys have partnered up here with Cerberus for this narrow, long risk-weighted portfolio, and then this short-term alpha portfolio, which I believe has been outperforming ADA. So for me, it's going to be really interesting to see exactly which ones of these do well, and then how people take advantage of that. Because again, right now we're about to go into the bull market, but I think that it's going to be very wise for people to start looking and thinking long-term about how to sort of make it through the next bear market, because inevitably that will be coming. So I do want to take an opportunity to quickly share the official testnet here and the link to that down below. Now let's pivot back over to Ollie. And so, Ali, I want to follow up here. Do you mind breaking down what pre-trading is for anybody who isn't aware? And then, having already gone through 2 token sales, what's been the feedback from the community? Is there any tips that you can share with us now about what to expect once the actual TGE goes live? Again, that's October 11th at 3 p.m. UTC.
Yes. So first of all, I want to say that for the Metera token sale on our side, we are almost ready with everything. We just have a couple of details we need to iron out, but we should have the token sale page live tomorrow in the upcoming section. So for pre-trading, the live trading will start at 3 p.m., but we will have a 3-hour pre-trading window before the live trading starts. What is pre-trading? Pre-trading is where users can already set up their buy order before live trading starts. These orders will not fill because the live trading will only start at 3 p.m., but they can already create their orders before live trading starts. There are many reasons why we do that. The main reason would be on-chain congestion. When you have a huge project like Metera, Strike, Dedium that does a token sale, it creates a lot of FOMO at the beginning of the sale, right? And on Cardano, sometimes you can get some congestions when too many people try to make a transaction at the same time. So to avoid this, we have something called pre-trading, right? So the orders of pre-trading will be handled the moment that live trading goes live in a first in, first out basis. So that's pretty much what pre-trading is. If there are any questions, feel free to ask it. If you can ask it here on AMA, or I also welcome everybody to join our Discord, and I'll gladly take on any questions. I'm a little bit ill, by the way, so excuse me for my voice and for coughing.
No worries. No worries. We're all human. You sound wonderful, and that was a great breakdown.
Thanks. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that I do think that our Launchpad has a fairly easy to use user interface. You just connect your wallet, you enter how many ADA you want to spend, you will see how much tokens you will receive, sign a transaction, and that's pretty much it. For the rest of the preparation, we need to work together with Metera this week to actually set up the token sale, because the sale is done completely by the Metera team. We don't hold any tokens, we don't hold any Metera, so they need to set up the token sale themselves. We will guide them through in doing that in the upcoming days. Then there's also one thing I want to mention. So I have an announcement planned, which I haven't made public yet, but we just added support for the Tokeo wallet. So anybody using the Tokeo wallet will be able to participate in the sale. We have full support for the Tokeo wallet as well. Talking about community feedback, so I have to admit, for the first token sale with Dedium, there were a couple of issues on the AXO Launchpad, but these were quickly resolved. And with Strike Finance, the feedback was only positive. No issues were found, no bugs were found. Everybody was happy. So we don't expect, we only expect good things for the Metera sale as well.
Perfect. And thank you again for that really, really thorough breakdown. I've gone ahead and left the link to the official AXO Trade Launchpad platform for anybody who wants to jump in there and take a look. As Ali mentioned, right now, obviously the actual information for the Metera platform isn't live yet, but it should be under, and let me just make sure that I've got this right. I just want to make sure that I don't misspeak here. So I'm actually just going to pull this up. It should be under the upcoming tab. So once the actual platform is basically ready to go, all the information will be available here in this upcoming tab. Of course, once it's completed, it'll be here. But then once it's actually live, kicking off on August 11th, you'll be able to get access to it this way. That said, I feel like you've hit on quite a bit there, Ali, and as well as Daniel. There is also an ISPO update. So I'm not sure that the AXO team is going to contribute to a lot of this portion here. So we'll give them a slight break, but we will come back to the AXO team as we get ready to wind things down. We'll take a couple of community questions, and then we'll also get closing thoughts from Yarek and Ollie. But at this point, let's pivot, Daniel, over to the ISPO if we could. Do you mind breaking down when it started, when it ended, the partner pools, the official Metera pool, and exactly what we can expect with the upcoming token generation event and in the distribution of the ISPO funds?
Yes, for sure. So we held an ISPO, I believe, from November to July this year, if my memory serves me right. We had our main Metera pool, which had over 34 million ADA staked at some point. So it was really, really successful and helped us fundraise our mainnet. We also partnered with 15 SSPOs selected by our community of NFT holders via Clarity. Dap Central was one of those pools. We had amazing pools such as Happy, Staking, or Santo over from TechMedio, Arcada. Like, we had 15 pools, K-Top, which is a Korean stake pool, Apollo, an Argentinian stake pool. So we had 15 SSPOs participating and also distributing Metera tokens. We initially allocated 9% of the whole supply for the ISPO, but since the beginning, we made it super clear that whatever was not distributed via the ISPO was going to be used for the token launch, and that's exactly what we did. That's why we're using 50% of the supply. We ended up distributing 5% out of the 9% to the SSPOs and our main pool delegators. And the main question everyone has been asking is how you claim your ISPO rewards. So recently, one of the things we have also been working on is in a deep integration with DripDrop's API. So users are able to claim their Metera tokens directly via our website. And that is going to be open right after the token sale is finished. So right now we have decided to leave the token sale for 48 hours. So by the 13th at 3 p.m. UTC, you should be able to claim your ISPO rewards via our website directly. And the claim of those tokens, as stated initially, follows a 6-month vesting schedule. So each epoch, a new set of rewards will be unlocked for ISPO participants, and they can either connect their wallet in their website and claim directly, or send ADA to an address without necessity of connecting their wallet in the website, and receive the Meteras that are unlocked directly in their wallets. Same logic will be used for the distribution of the NFT holders, which have some tokens allocated as well. So they should be able to claim that directly in our website. Right there, as you can see in the ISPO, we'll have another claim tab over at the header. And right there, you should be able to claim your rewards without a problem.
Perfect. And thank you. I'll go ahead and paste a link to this here for the live viewers. I believe that really covers a lot of the main and burning questions that I definitely had. And so I would like to switch over and maybe take a couple of questions here from the community if we can. And so taking a look here, I think we might need a little bit of clarification, but this question coming in here from Crazy Crypto Scad asking, have you got any expected volumes of trades /week on go live? And so I'm not sure, because this might be putting the AXO team here on the spot, but do you guys have any numbers, right, looking maybe back at the Dedium and the Strike Finance sale about, participation activity? Are you guys maybe noticing a lot of activity at pre-trade and maybe not necessarily during the actual go live, or you may be noticing, a lot of activity at the very end of the sale? Anything that you guys can maybe share about, activity and volume for sales? Of course, if you guys don't have that information available, that's also okay. I understand that this is sort of a on the spot question.
Sure, Norris, I can take it. So what usually happens is like around between 20 to 50% of orders seem to be coming from pre-trading. So a lot of people seem, like to put the orders, especially like when it's like a tiered sale, as it's in the case of Metera, early to guarantee the spot, and then it usually results in about between 5 to 30 minutes of backlog for Cardano to process all those transactions. And after that, there seems to be a lot of activity as like different people like join in, and I believe it's based on the time zones. And then usually after that, the activity keeps constant until the end of the sale. That has been the case with both the Demon Strike, and it's quite strongly in line like with what typically happens on the market when there's like a new sale.
Thank you for that, Yarek. And I just want to quickly add as well, just taking a look at the completed tab here for the last two sales, looks like a total of around 2,000 plus trades coming in for both Dedium and Strike Finance. All right, there's an additional question coming in here. I'm not sure if this is a real question or if this is just you, Yarek, with an alt account, but how many tokens in total for Metaxo? Looks like maybe there's a new token coming on the market here. On a serious note, let's see here. This is an interesting question. If a token fails, do we have confidence that overall liquidity won't be an issue? I'm not really sure how to take that one and really sort of what the point here of this type of question is. But if you guys want to jump in here, you're more than welcome. If not, I think we'll jump into closing thoughts here. I want to be respectful of both of your guys' time. I know Daniel's got another stream after this actually as well.
So maybe I can try to answer that one. I'm not sure because like the difference between a sale in AXO and what we might see in an LBE via MinSwap or on another LBE mechanism in the ecosystem is that the actual sale doesn't fail, right? Typically in LBEs you have a minimum to be raised and a maximum. If the project doesn't fulfill the minimum, then the token doesn't go out, and typically that is really harsh for projects that don't meet the minimum criteria of liquidity for the token to be launched. In the case, since you are buying directly the token via AXO, there is no failed mechanism, right? So the token will always go out live. And I guess on our side, to cover that liquidity issue, is that we would be creating liquidity if we don't meet the maximum raise, pro rata to what we ended up raising via the sale. I know didn't end up selling all of their tokens, and what they ended up doing with that is that they did an airdrop with all of the tokens that were not initially sold. I'm not sure we will follow that path. To be honest, it's a very dynamic kind of way of thinking. We need to see how the sale is going and make decisions on the go based on the total amounts raised. But I don't expect liquidity to be an issue because we would be creating liquidity in AXO and other separate DXs based on the amount raised, and I'm pairing that with some Metera tokens that is also separated from the TG itself.
Got it.
Oh, sorry, I think Jarek, the question Jarek made was how many tokens in total. So Metera has a total supply of 1 billion. That means that 150 million tokens will be available right after the token event via AXO. So yeah, 1 billion total supply.
And again, I'm going to go ahead and just quickly leave the links to Metera's platform as well as the AXO platform for anybody who has any questions or maybe just wants to actually use the AXO Launchpad for their own projects or projects that they follow closely. So those have both been left within the live chat there. So again, you guys should be able to hopefully see that and get access to that as you need. Now, that said, we've been going through quite a bit here. Want to thank the both of you, well, all three of you for jumping on here, Daniel, Ali, and Yarek. At this point, I think we'll jump into closing thoughts. So if you guys want to take an opportunity to just break down or maybe recap what we've highlighted, this would be the time to do it. And I think we'll let Ali maybe kick us off first. Yarek will come to you next, and then Daniel will give you the final say.
Sure. All I want to say is that I'm just really glad that the top projects are willing to work with AXO and are willing to use a launchpad. It's definitely interesting to be able to get these token launches. I'm personally a big fan of the Metera protocol. I think they're doing great things with their indexes. I also do see some kind of collaboration between our two projects. So maybe we can share more about that in the future. All I want to say is best of luck to the token sale, and yeah, thank you for hosting this, Farid.
It's my pleasure. Sounds like you were about to give us some alpha, but you hesitated. So I'd love to get you back on here whenever anything else becomes official between AXO and Metera. But again, for right now, it's the upcoming TGE taking place on October 11th at 3 p.m. UTC. All right, Mr. Yarick, over to you for closing thoughts.
Thank you. So I'm excited about Metera launch. Big congratulations to Daniel and the team for doing everything by the book. I've been impressed by the process they followed, and I think they deserve a really exciting launch, and we'll be supporting them and keeping fingers crossed for them as well on the launch. And Farid, thank you for the great interview.
You're welcome. It's always a pleasure working with the cream of the crop here in this space. That said, Daniel Sampson, over to you for closing thoughts.
Well, first of all, thank you guys for the nice comments. I'm really, really grateful to have built around Metera a suite of partners that have such talent, such as you guys over at AXO. I think AXO is one of the blue chip projects in the Cardano ecosystem, and definitely as a founder, something that we look up to, and being able to work alongside you, it's a great honor. So yeah, I hope everything goes well. I'm fairly sure we'll do well. Mainnet coming soon. Indexes finally coming into Cardano. So really exciting times, and can't wait to see everyone there. So thank you so much, Farid, also for the amazing interview.
It's always a pleasure. As a creator, like I said, I enjoy what I do. I get to sit back, ask questions, and listen in. That will do it here for today's live stream. Sitting down with Daniel Sampson, Ali, and Yarick, the head of AXO here. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys found some value. Again, make sure to check out the links. Check out the description down below. If you have any questions about AXO, all their information is down there. If you have any questions about Metera, all their information is down there. Again, their upcoming TGE taking place through the AXO Launchpad on October 11th at 3 p.m. UTC. And then there's also the ISPO, which I'll be providing updates on my personal channel for as a partner pool for that as well. So definitely make sure to subscribe to the official channels, not just Dapp Center, but also the Metera platform. Make sure to follow them on X. Same thing with AXO. Again, links left down below as a part of today's video description. That'll do it here for today's stream. Can't thank everybody enough for tuning in here. David, we've got Yarick Discord, which actually isn't Yarick. We've got, let's see here, Brody Alden tuning in today, JR, Eric Taylor. We definitely do appreciate all of you guys taking the time to jump in here and show your support. Now, that said, if you guys have found any portion of today's video to be helpful, please make sure to smash that thumbs up if it's your first time stopping by and you want more content like this. Whether you've come into the Dapp Center YouTube channel or the official Metera channel, make sure to go ahead and subscribe to both. Last but not least, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave those in the live chat. And if you're catching this as a part of the replay, make sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below. That said, and as always, we'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.